Hello everyone, today let's watch Marvel's newly released superhero movie in 2024. That's the funny mutant Deadpool and the miserable werewolf Logan. The story begins when young Deadpool digs up the werewolf's grave to visit his old friend. But what remains of the werewolf is now just a skeleton covered in vibranium. Deadpool is very saddened by Logan's death, so he started to confide in this emotionless skeleton, feeling very sad when a group of people from TVA showed up. This is an organization that manages the variance of time. As soon as they appeared, Deadpool grabbed the werewolf's coconut shell and hid. Knowing that it would be difficult to escape the TVA's pursuit, he high-fived Logan to fight together. First, break a bone and transform into a peach blossom. Then use other bones to cut off each of them, even using the werewolf's coconut shell as a weapon. Just beat Deadpool and dance around very lively. After throwing away the werewolf's head, he switched to the skeleton nunchaku dance. Deadpool even used his best friend's claws as weapons. You guys call home and tell your mother to buy a coffin and have it ready. But why is this young, clueless Deadpool being hunted by TVA like this? It turns out that 6 years ago, Deadpool used the time travel device of the Bodhi tree to teleport from Earth 10,005 to Earth 616. The place where he met Happy is now the representative of the superhero organization Avengers. Here, Deadpool talks about his wishes, from his self-proclaimed heroic achievements to his admiration for the Avengers, to his ability to fight independently and work in a team. He adapts very well. After all, Deadpool's ultimate goal is to become a true Avenger. But Happy said no. Being an Avenger is not a job, it's a superhero's responsibility. Besides, Deadpool doesn't belong to this Earth. Back to the present on Earth 10,005. At this point, Deadpool was bored with fighting, so he switched to working as a used car salesman. But he couldn't sell anything for a whole year, so he had to hitchhike with a friend. That day, Deadpool received a surprise birthday party from the superheroes. The young man was very touched and thanked them. Just as he blew out the candles, there was a loud knock on the door. Open the door and it's someone from TVA. I don't know any of you guys, so I came to the party. Come on, hurry up and drink while the water is clear. After speaking, they immediately pulled out their hot goods, which surprised Deadpool. But before he could explain, someone pulled him into the space gate. Deadpool awakens to find himself in TVA time management. The person sitting in front was Paradox. He said that the organization's mission was to preserve the sacred timeline by preventing the creation of alternate timelines. After listening, Deadpool had no idea what Paradox was talking about. Have you just started smoking papaya leaves? So he decided to take Deadpool to solve his questions. There are many staff members here who are responsible for managing different timelines. Paradox also says there could be a timeline where Deadpool is an Avenger. Hearing that, the guy was very pleased. Paradox also showed him the fight of former Captain Mio. Seeing his idol, Deadpool solemnly raised his hand and waved. There was even a moment when he and the rabbit fought until the last minute. Paradox considers himself ready to join the Avengers of Earth 616. Of course, Deadpool couldn't miss this opportunity. He immediately ran home and put on his cool, gourd-like outfit. This is the mutant we know. Not a useless used car salesman. Deadpool then offers to borrow Paradox's time capsule to bring his friends. But he tells him he can't keep going back and forth between the two timelines like that. It will branch out into many different entities and endanger the entire universe. Paradox also says that Deadpool's timeline is deteriorating due to the death of Logan the werewolf. Looking back at the day he died, everyone was moved to tears. But why could the death of his spiritual master affect Deadpool's timeline? So he suggested bringing in a Logan from another universe, which would solve the problem. Of course, Paradox could not agree. He gave him two options. One was to return to his Earth and watch it die. Two was he could go to Earth 616 to become an Avenger. But Deadpool is a man who values friendship very much, so he decided to play big and jump Tempat from Paradox's hands. Before his sexy ass could hit someone else's face, Deadpool had already disappeared through the portal, and that was the reason the TVA group was hunting him. With the werewolf claws in his hands, he gently took down each of them, even stabbing his claws into the anus and slashing away the larks of the two who had just arrived. After the bloody battle, Deadpool decided to find another werewolf to replace him, but unexpectedly, this werewolf was 3m7 tall, like a child. Well, I'll have to find another Logan. The second person who met Deadpool stabbed him hundreds of times. The next person was Logan, the one-eyed dragon sitting at the betting table. Because of cheating, Deadpool got his head stabbed. Just like that, the weird mutant encountered many different variations of Logan, even getting himself involved in a war between werewolves and the Green Giant. After being punched through another timeline, Deadpool stumbles upon a Logan he finds very special. What's more unexpected is that the other party also knows about him. but it seems that this Logan is heartbroken and keeps drinking alcohol. Seeing that the other party was drunk near the fishing line, Deadpool took the opportunity to bring him to TVA headquarters. Paradox was really surprised by the actions of the strange mutant. He said it was this Logan who destroyed his timeline. After hearing that, Deadpool was confused, but before he could do anything, Paradox sent him into the dark space. Logan immediately became the next victim. Soon as Deadpool woke up, he was stabbed by Logan's claws, then skewer the baby bird and break its spine. But Deadpool is a mutant who cannot die. He quickly recovered and kept jumping back to Logan's origins. Hearing this gave them a headache, so the two immediately rushed into a martial arts exchange. Even after fighting for hundreds of years, they still wouldn't die due to their immortality. Just like that, the two young men ate piece by piece, neither mother willing to give in to the other. After a while of fighting, Logan was no different from Deadpool's hedgehog with knives and swords. The mutant doctor said he could fix everything. It's up to TVA to go back to their timeline. While the two were discussing, a mysterious figure appeared. Then a group of people with cages holding prisoners arrived. Unexpectedly, the masked man was the trick, Captain Steve. Seeing his idol, Deadpool tried to give him a polite hug. But in this dimension, Steve is Johnny the Fireman of the Fantastic Four. The man who came after him was a man named Pizzo. He is also a mutant with the ability to control fire. At this moment, Johnny activated his power to soar into the air. But with his ability to control fire, Pizzo easily absorbed it. But when the fire is out, Johnny is considered useless. So he fell down the fence, broke 2 quail eggs, and landed on his mouth. At this time, a hairy old man who looked quite fierce like my boss appeared. Logan's unexpected death shocked everyone. If you finish the dog food, come here and I will serve you all. Logan and Deadpool were quickly drawn to the magnetic machine after crowing, assuming a spooning position. When they woke up, they were already locked in a cage. Johnny explains to the two that this place is a dark space. So going back to TVA to correct the mistake is out of the question. Their captors were the men of the evil woman Cassandra, and their base is the tomb of a giant Ant-Man. As soon as they arrived, the big door opened to welcome them. The hairy villain Cassandra finally appears. Oh, I know about werewolves and I once caught a version of Logan, but Deadpool immediately declared that he could not take Logan because he needed to bring the other person to his universe. Even as soon as the rope was removed, Deadpool started pumping Johnny steadily. That he had criticized Cassandra's shiny hair a lot. Even though Johnny kept denying it, he couldn't be as quick as Deadpool's mouth. As a result, the fireman was stripped of all his flesh by the evil man and became a skeleton. At this time, the young man wondered why Professor Muoy's wheelchair was here. It turns out Cassandra is his twin sister. But the two went 2 different paths. She likes to use her power to manipulate people's minds. Cassandra said that she and the TVA organization made a deal and became the masters of dark space. Logan was angry, jumped up, and was buried alive by the evil woman. Deadpool saw this and raised his hands in surrender. But I'm still very curious about you. After stabbing his hand through a coconut shell, all of Deadpool's memories were read. Thanks to that, Cassandra knows he does not belong in the current universe. Just then, Logan suddenly emerged and stabbed his claws through my body. I thought it was delicious, but nothing happened. From afar, the monster Alios was charging like a god, so Cassandra and her subordinates quickly ran into shelter. It is a voracious creature and will devour anything it comes across. Logan quickly activated a suit of armor and together with Deadpool successfully took off to escape from here. The two raided a house for food but found nothing. Instead, use a bottle of rubbing alcohol. Because he was hungover, Logan used it as a substitute for alcohol. Here Deadpool confides about his dream of becoming an Avenger, but was abandoned. Moreover, he just lost his current lover, Vanessa. The mutant also expressed jealousy because Logan was a member of the X-Men team. But looking at Logan's face, he didn't seem very proud. While continuing to move, they both heard a dog barking. It even wears a suit with Deadpool's logo. The dog ran to him and wagged its tail like it was its owner. Even more surprising was a long-haired Deadpool also running here. His face is very handsome, not full of scars like this young man. There are also 3 very fancy gold-plated guns. Long-haired Deadpool gave the two a car. They can move to the border of this space to join the resistance against Cassandra. Along the way, Logan learned the truth that Deadpool wasn't sure he could fix the timeline, even though he said he was doing this to save all his loved ones. But Logan also has his own universe, so the two of them rushed to change tactics. Logan was kicked out of the car and immediately sucked the car and rushed into the Deadpool skewer. Just like that, the 2 young men took turns going out and going back in. I don't understand what's wrong with the car that they like to fight inside. After July 7th, 69 rounds, the car was now a total wreck. While they were resting to regain their strength to fight again, someone came and drove the car away. When Logan woke up, he was holding a bottle of wine in his hand. It turns out that this place is an outpost of the revolutionary resistance against Cassandra. Warriors are heroes from ancient to modern times. While greeting them, Logan was still absorbed in his bottle of wine. This accidentally upset Gambit and the card broke it. At this moment Laura appeared. She also possessed the same powers as Logan. They were all banished to dark space by TVA. Here Deadpool named this resistance team Bivenger, a parody of Avengers. To defeat Cassandra, everyone needs to work together. But the Bivengers all said that was impossible because the strongest one, Johnny, had lost his life at the hands of Ada. After hearing that, Deadpool immediately pretended to send his deep condolences. With his talent, he successfully encouraged the Bivengers. Finally, the resistance members agreed to join. However, when the group's spirit was rising, Logan flatly refused to cooperate. That evening, Laura took the initiative to talk to the wolf privately. The two people have similar strengths, so they can understand each other more easily. In addition, they all lost their iron-fisted comrades beside them. But for Laura, she will stand up and fight against the enemy. Logan blames himself for failing to save the X-Men in his universe and drowns himself in alcohol. The next morning, the group sets off in a rickety car, except for Logan, to Cassandra's territory. ATA and his men quickly learned this. Black Brother Bread started the war with a missile that blew the door apart. After crossing the sea of fire, he got out of the car in a cool way. Cassandra's henchmen immediately pointed their guns at them. Ada was also quite surprised by this attack. But more surprisingly, Logan crawled out of the trunk. After the AIDS kid finished donating blood, there was no need for the evil Eta to show up. Just the juniors are enough to deal with it. Very quickly, both sides rushed into a martial arts exchange. They showed all their strength. Gambit controls cards that attack enemies and cause their victims to explode. Alexa slashes with two swords in her hands and kills wherever she goes. Blade is no pushover either, being proficient in a variety of weapons. Laura has the same fighting style as Logan. Deadpool and Logan successfully broke inside. The remaining members will deal with the henchmen outside. At this time, Otto was still leisurely sitting drinking tea. As soon as he stood up, he spun Deadpool around like a drum. Logan was of course no match for Eta. Cassandra begins to tease the wolf for not being able to save the X-Men. Just like that, he was gradually manipulated by Ata through his mental pain. Even convinced him to fight with her in the dark space. Laura outside had climbed to the top of the skull. Before she was pulled down, she threw her backpack to Deadpool. Taking that opportunity, he immediately placed the power control helmet on Cassandra's head. Now let me see you, girl. After a moment of panic, Ada realized that if he died, no one would be able to get them out of the dark space. Just then, a gunshot rang out, hitting Cassandra. It turns out that Pizzo is a double agent sent by Paradox to take her life. Logan angrily knocked him down with just one punch. In this situation, the wolf asked Deadpool to remove his hat to help Cassandra recover. However, she must take them to Deadpool's timeline. Just like that, Logan took off the hat himself. Luckily, Cassandra is a fair-playing villain. She uses the ring from a variant of Dr. Trung, then begins to open the space portal to Deadpool's surprise. On the other side, the car dealership owner was handing over the product to the customer when two leopards fell down and destroyed the car. But instead of being angry, both sellers and buyers were happy about the appearance of superheroes. Pizzo, on the other hand, regained consciousness and was shocked to see Cassandra alive. To save his life, he said he was working for Paradox. He is currently on Earth 10,005 to kill the timeline here without permission from his superiors. Knowing this, Cassandra immediately opened the gate there and killed Pizzo right in front of everyone. Then comes the intrusion into Paradox's consciousness. While they were watching, Logan and Deadpool were also blown away by her. Cassandra drags Paradox back to TVA to use the Time Reaper to destroy all timelines. At this time, Logan and Deadpool woke up, but the gate was still not closed. From there, the dog and long-haired Deadpool suddenly appeared. But what's even more surprising is that there are many other Deadpool variations coming through the portal. It seems their appearance is not very friendly. Seeing that, Deadpool started to stand up and declare that this universe is his and he has the right to be here. So you guys quickly quailed to the right place, but they refused because the other universes were gradually weakening and ending. Then they immediately opened fire, causing the long-haired guy to bleed from his mouth. Well, let's use it as a scapegoat for convenience. At this point, Logan lifted the dog up, forcing them to stop. He walked gently across the street without being hit by a bullet. How the hell did the long-haired guy get grass growing on his grave after being shot? Seeing that, Deadpool immediately jumped with his pair of gold-plated guns. Then the two men walked out to fight. Know the enemy and know yourself, and you will win every battle. The little dog understood this and fled the scene first, leaving the gods fighting each other, their minds tied up in chaos. After beating each other on the street, they got into the bus and continued to beat each other. Then two young men jumped out of the car in a cool manner. However, all Deadpools have the ability to heal quickly, so the other variants cannot die. At this point, a funnel-shaped version appears. It turns out that he was Deadpool's friend Peter at the car dealership, so the whole gang respected him a lot. So the two young men took the opportunity to escape. At this point, Cassandra began to take control of the Reaper machine. If this continues, we will destroy the entire timeline. While Paradox was helpless, Logan and Deadpool came looking for him. The wolf threatened him to tell him how to stop this. So Paradox revealed that breaking the Reaper's energy flow would cost his life. There was no time left. Deadpool and Logan immediately took action. The wolf hopes he can act as a conduit to destroy the Reaper, because Deadpool needs to live and protect his friends. Deadpool also said that Logan is one of the best werewolves. I am very happy and honored to be your teammate. But when Logan just entered, Deadpool knocked the wolf unconscious and took his place. Deadpool pulls the timeline from a pipe. You need to grasp the timeline of the remaining pipeline to become a conductor. At the difficult moment, Logan broke the door to help, causing the suit to be blown apart. It is truly the pinnacle of humanity. This causes Cassandra's destruction to be interrupted, but Deadpool and Logan's bodies are about to give out. As soon as the screen showed 100%, everything exploded. Paradox was now captured by Hunter B-15 for his insane actions. Luckily, both Logan and Deadpool survived the explosion. Paradox was shocked and couldn't believe it, but before he could hear the explanation, he was carried away. At this point, Hunter showed them a miracle. Logan's appearance in this universe has made the timeline more stable, so he was allowed to stay on Earth for 10,000 years. Deadpool also has a request, which is to bring all his variants back to their universe. The movie ends here. Hello and see you again, everyone.